Hi there, and a warm welcome to Canada and the Forward World Men's Curling Championship 2017. We're here in Edmonton. It's in Western Canada, in the province of Alberta, one of the strongest curling areas on the entire planet. It's a city of around 1 million people or so. This is the old part of the city, the Strathcona district, and the outskirts, and this is the Northlands Coliseum in Edmonton. Focusing still on round robin action, and this is our featured game in this session, men's session 12, and it's the Netherlands against Canada. I'm Alison Walker, and alongside me, New Zealand Olympian Hans Frauenlob, bringing you live commentary on the entire game, and we'll keep you updated with everything else that's happening in this men's session. A critical point in the round robin, and these are the lineups for the Netherlands. Lead player Carlo Glasbergen at second, Lawrence Hopman, third player Wouter Huskens, and their skip is Jaap van Dorp. Coach Shai Lebrant-Diemen. For Canada, lead player Jeff Walker. At second, Brent Gallant. Mark Nichols plays third, and their skip, Brad Boucher. And there are the standings. Look at that, Canada right at the top, unbeaten, 7 wins, no losses. Switzerland on Sweden on 6-1, hanging in there, and lots of teams on that 3 and 4 mark. And midway really through the event, you need to start getting wins, those teams towards the bottom. These are the other games. This morning on Sheet A, we have Sweden against Scotland. Our game on Sheet B, and on Sheet C, it's China against Norway. And on Sheet D, we have Russia against Japan. Teams being introduced to the crowd this morning. A few keen ones have filtered in. I'm sure a few more will come in a little bit later, mainly because Team Canada are playing. But our game, Netherlands against Canada, it looks like a mismatch, Hans. How will those Dutch players be feeling right now?
Well, good morning, Alison. And yeah, I guess say from personal experience exactly how the Dutch boys will be feeling this morning. In our first World Championships in 1999, when I was competing for New Zealand, we were similarly placed. We were winless at this point in the competition when we faced the Canadian team at home. And you're right, even though on paper you're saying that these guys are Olympic champions and much better than us on paper, you're actually feeling excitement. You're not feeling nervousness at all. This is a chance for you to be on the world stage and compete against the best and show what you can do. And this is the first Dutch team at a men's world championship since 1994. So they're carrying not only their own hopes, but the hopes of a nation. And they're looking to showcase curling in the Netherlands to the world today.
They want to put up a good competition, show that they can be competitive at this level.
And they saw last night, they played a very close game against Switzerland, who are just 1 win behind the Canadians at 6-1, and a very strong team. And Benoit Schwartz was life and death to make his last stone to win that game. So there's no question this team has the game. And it's the question of can they bring it against this unbeaten Brad Gushue team, who have shown very few cracks in the armor so far this week. They're playing super strong.
So how will they be feeling in terms of their approach to this game? Important for them to remain, very concentrated, very focused. Just because the Dutch haven't won a game doesn't mean they can't take them seriously.
Absolutely right. And if you're a team like the Gushue team with extraordinarily high standards of performance for themselves, that's exactly what you do. You look at the schedule for the week and you're looking and saying, okay, well, we're going to be playing the Netherlands today, and on paper that's an easy game, and you'll be doubling down on yourself to remind yourself not to take this lightly, not to look past it, to really focus on the moment and your own performance and keep that performance elevated high. So I don't think there's any doubt that the Canadians will not be letting up on the throttle at all. They'll bring to this game what they've brought to every other game in this competition, and that's laser focus.
Yeah, they have been impressive. So the Netherlands with the red stones.
Thank you.
And Canada with the yellows. This is Carlo Glasbergen, the lead player, 26 years old.
At the tender age of 26, one of the veterans on this Dutch team.
He's been with the team around 10 years, so been curling a long time.
Hij zei het en ik dacht, ik moet er wat zeggen, maar toen was het al te laat. Hij zat wel mee. Want dat is altijd deze spertjes gooien, dus het is logisch dat het niet hard is.
This is Jeff Walker, he's 31, 21 years curling, 4 years with this team. There's in St. John's, born in Alberta. Two different sides of the country.
Good shot, Jeff.
Corner guard there, so the Canadians stating their intentions. They're going to go straight to the offense. Netherlands, on the other hand, throwing the first stone into the rings. Being a bit cautious, and you can understand that in the first end.
12, 8. Oké, lijn terug. Top 8. Achter. Zo ook helemaal. Bij 4. Ja, zelfs 4. Top 8, top 4. Oké, ga maar daar.
You're in the nose. Yep. Normal. Hard. Here, quiet. Hard. Whoa. Whoa. Yep. Here, quiet. Hard. Roll it.
Walker trying the double, looking for an inside roll as well behind that corner.
Shot.
Stuffs it, jams on the back. Canadian stone there in the 8-foot.
Yeah.
Lawrence Hookman,
10,5.
the baby of the team, 19.
10,5.
What an experience this has been for him.
Yep.
Understand that he's still missing high school classes to play at his first
Okay. Yep.
World Men's Championships. So yes, an amazing experience for Lawrence.
Okay.
His team won the gold medal in the B division in the Europeans. And that's had a bit of a journey to get here, but my goodness, they played some great stuff to get here, and now just want to play as well as they can. You know, what is the goal actually if you're this Dutch team this week, Hans? Is it a couple of wins? Is that?
Yeah, you're really just gathering experience. You know that it's pretty unrealistic that you're going to podium in your first World Championships with very little experience. So
Looks light.
I think the goal for the week is just to give yourself the confidence that you can compete at this level, even if you don't achieve a win at all this week. A game like they played last night against Switzerland is exactly the kind of thing that this team from the Netherlands needs to just assure themselves that, yeah, we're here with the big boys, but we actually belong here.
This way, Brett.
That was Brett Gallant there,
No, it's okay.
second player.
Come on.
And this team, Team Van Dorp, has been very active on the curling circuit this year, qualifying in top-class tour events. So I think their own self-belief is building up as they progress and start to achieve higher levels of performance. This one's over curling, though. This one's going to jam. So great chance here for the Canadians to use the corner guard now and open their account in the first end with a deuce and maybe more.
Early.
Yep.
He's pretty close.
Mine's a little tight. Copy.
Mine's real tight. Keep going. Line's good.
Copy.
Line's good.
Keep going. Roll now.
Oh, great brushing there from Team Canada. Jeff Walker in particular on the inside rush.
Oh, look at that, Rance. Perfect.
Yeah, and that's all credit the sweepers. That was a coast-to-coast sweep, and we talked about their focus, and they worked that one.
Well, this is actually the baby of the team, the third player.
Dino, help!
That's right.
They're getting younger and younger.
Tough when you're 19 and you're not the young man on the team, isn't it?
Okay, game out.
Curling to the nose, so
Okay, Wout.
Netherlands just trying to now reduce the risk of dropping a big end, just removing the Canadian stone.
Much quicker,
Sensible
probably
play.
a couple feet quicker in breadth.
It's not far from draw weight in other games. So I thought the draw to the button was a hair quicker than other games.
Yeah.
And this should be pretty good now. I threw down here, so a foot or two extra, but
First in, so a lot of feedback from the front end players about the draw weight. Mark Nichols is going to try the freeze. That stone of the Netherlands is behind the tee line, so
Weight's good.
great chance here if he can weld this one that the Canadians can
Look like yours.
generate maybe even a 3.
He's been in superb form this week, Mark Nichols.
He really has.
Line's good. Yep. Up forward, T. Hard. We're there. Yep. Yes. Hard. Not quite there. Hard. Come on, guys. Hard. Hard, 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 hard,
So
hard.
it's breaking hard. It's a question about the line. Will it maintain the line? I think it's going to slightly over curl for the freeze, but it does sit in front of the Netherlands stone. So Canada,
A little wider, than yours.
I think, is line 1.
Ja, we liggen
Van
wel
Dorp's
zo.
taking a look at it.
zij liggen short, hè?
Nee, wij liggen
Wij liggen short.
Yellow stones belong to Canada. They've got the hammer here in the first end.
Ja.
Some amazing last stone draw performance before the game, Allison. One of their draw attempts was 1 millimeter from absolute zero. That's as
From perfection.
close as you can actually come to completely covering the nail.
Hij is goed.
Back 10 en back 4.
Oh, nee.
T. Back 8. Oké. Back 4.
Girl, nee. Hij is back 8.
Hij is ernaast.
This one is sliding
Doorheen.
deeper than the Dutch would like.
Wat je dan?
Sits back 8, but look at this one sliding right through the rings. So
It's unfortunate.
it can fool the players in the first end. There's a lot of pre-game practice on the outside-in path, and when they're coming inside out in the early part of the game, sometimes you're compensating a little bit, thinking, okay, that path hasn't been played much, so I'll
I'm gonna be
bump the weight a little bit, and that might have been what happened on that last stone.
9 en 4.
Regardless now, fantastic chance for Mark Nichols to punish the mistake, and Canada could be lying 3 if he can make this short run back.
Quiet. Hey, quiet normal.
Off. Off.
Not laying a brush to it, willing it to curl.
Good. Sit.
Hold on, honey.
Sit.
Oh boy, did that ever work out well for Team Canada. Lying 3, and they are spread out all over the rings.
Yeah, if you placed them, you could have run down and placed them on the house there. You couldn't have placed them any better.
No, absolutely perfect. Great result for Mark Nichols.
Gewoon helemaal de achtergrond.
And the red warning lights are flashing now for Jaap van Dorp.
Ja, ja.
We just would have wanted this to get this end out of the way without too many
Ja, 10.
too many problems. Okay, maybe lose 1 or 2, but not.
If we come back to that excellent come around of Brett Gallant and that coast-to-coast sweep of Jeff Walker around the corner guard, and that really set the wheels in motion for Team Canada. So key moment now for Jaap van Dorp.
Yep, 27 years old. The
Dino.
Dutch skip
Dino. Whoa.
was in Veldhoven in the Netherlands.
Off. Low. Low. Yep.
Hard out.
Right on the nose. They were hoping for a little bit of a roll to perhaps use the corner guard, but it's right in the open there for Brad Gushue. And if he does nose this one, there's really no double anywhere for Team Netherlands.
We need to make it just a little more awkward for the Canadian skip. Skip and vice skip for the Netherlands.
Surveying all they see before them, and what they see before them is a world of hurt. Brad Gushu now in the hack.
Gushu, what a story he's been with this team this year.
Same as Mark.
And on course to complete,
Gotta go hard, Brett. Hard, Brett.
complete the picture.
Hard. Right to it. Hard.
That's right on the beak. Perfect. Yeah, it's really been a Norse saga this year for Brad Gushu. He's suffered through injuries. Spent part of the season on the bench, just couldn't play, injured. Rehabbed aggressively. Mark Nichols stepped up and skipped the team in Brad's absence and performed really, really well. And I think that was a big boost to the season for Mark as well. And when Brad came back from injury, it really ignited this team.
Thought it might hold over the line.
Played
there,
the
but
Canadian
just didn't get
Championships
on
in their
there.
home province of Newfoundland and Labrador. And although Brad and Mark are Olympic champions in 2006 and have been to the Canadian Championships on, I think, 16 occasions, have lost the final twice, have never won it. And this year in their home province, on the final stone of the match, on a coast-to-coast sweep into the 8-foot, finally won their first Canadian Brier Championship. So it's been an amazing season for Brad Gushu, and they're looking to cap it off here.
And they're looking good so far, but Netherlands just need to do what they can here to try and stop. But it's not looking like it will be anything less than 3.
Same shot coming up now for Brad Gushu. So as Allison points out, it's an open hit for 3.
Maar hij was wel echt harder. Voelde
He'll
voor
be
mij ook.
frustrated. Oh yeah, that they've made it just a bit too easy for Canada here.
Yeah, just a couple of half shots over curls on takeout attempts and rollouts, and all of a sudden you're looking at 3. That short run back by Nichols, they got actually a break. They were trying a straight run back. It was a little bit wide, but the net result, the stones scattered all over the rings, and so now Brad Gushu on the last stone of end number 1 with an open hit for 3.
Easy. Whoa.
What a great way to start your morning if you're Team Canada.
Whoa.
A little harder, hey?
There we go, absolutely no problem at all. And it is 3 yellows, 3 yellow counters, 3 points. For Team Canada, fantastic start for them after end 1. Netherlands 0, Canada 3. Jeff Walcott getting us back underway in our featured game between the Netherlands and Canada. Great start for Canada on that first end, which will no doubt relax them into the game.
It's like a fresh squeezed glass of orange juice for Team Canada. 3 in the first end. That'll start your morning nicely. For First stone into the rings. Good sensible play from Canada after putting a 3 on the board. You don't want to give your opponent the chance to score 2 or more, so you're just trying to force now is the play. Holland will play the corner guard.
Rules of play for you in this round robin. It's 6 ends minimum. There's the 38-minute thinking time and the 1 60-second timer that you'll see. The coach will pop down, have a chat with the players, and give some advice, usually in the latter part of the game. In fact, we haven't seen many coaches coming down too much this week so far.
The teams have been using timeouts judiciously. Time management, though, it's usually the task of one of the players in the team to keep an eye on the time clock.
Slower curl on that side, I think.
And you can see the other sheet just on the left there. That is Sweden against Scotland.
Nice weight.
Important game there too, yeah.
It is, absolutely. And as Alison said, we'll keep you apprised from time to time of the progress of the games on the other sheets. But yes, as we're moving into the business end of the week, 3 of the teams out there today are on 3 and 4 and fighting for their playoff lives. Scotland's one of them. China and Norway playing against each other are both on 3 and 4, so they know that whoever doesn't win that game is pretty much out of the playoff picture, so we'll keep an eye on that one as well. 2 corner guards now for the Netherlands, and Brett Gallant is going to be asked to run at least one of them.
Silver medalist at the World Junior Championships in 2009. Brett, youngest member of the team.
Yeah, he's been having an outstanding week.
Ja, we willen nu eentje balance, dus niet toch balance.
Generally in the 90s in the shooting percentage department.
Niet het endplan in ieder geval.
And really contributing with the brush as well as a sweeper. These ones are all lined up here for Jaap van Dorp, and we'll be looking to double them off. And the way that they're angled, he might even get a roll behind the corner guard, so chance for kind of a 2-for-1 deal here for the Netherlands.
Hard, boys! Hard!
Right on the nose, and so even though he doesn't get the roll, sits right in front of the Canadian stone, so that'll be a bit of a pain in the neck for Brad Gushue, but he realizes that the corner guard is actually the danger stone. So he'll ask Gallant to run that one.
Clean. Whoa. Clean. Clean it. You're over the top of this.
Hoping for a little bit of action. Actually does get a little bit of action, promoting the Netherlands stone right onto the button. That's a tricky angle raise. So now it's a chance for Van Dort to apply a little pressure, and looks to me like he's asking for the corner freeze on the Canadian stone in the 4-foot. So I like this call. Generating some offense, no guards in play, so Lawrence Hickman is going to have a chance to play a draw here.
Blijf bij. Wachten. Hij is close. Blijf bij. Make sure. Maar? Top 4. Yep.
Top 4. My Dutch isn't so good, but I'm thinking that's top 4.
Yeah, I think even I can make that out to here.
Oh, good-looking stone from
It is,
Hickman.
isn't it?
Okay.
Would have loved another 6 inches forward, but that's in a nice position for the Netherlands. And first time in the game that Team Canada's faced a bit of a sticky situation. Gushu looking at the angles. We know he's going to hit it. It's a question where and how hard. Brett Gallant coming down to offer his tuppence worth. Two-thirds, says Gushu. And if he hits 2/3, it'll go past the yellow stone and double off the red. He doesn't want to disturb his own stone if he can avoid it. But if he hits a tooth, then it'll just straight jam and leave the Dutch stone on the button. So precision required for Mark Nichols, but if there's any man in the field you'd want throwing a shot like this with the big weight, it's somebody like Mark Nichols.
Hard! Hard, hard, hard.
And this is a big weight.
Ba-boom.
Okay. Let's save the yellow there.
Yeah, we heard Gushu say he just really wanted to save his own. So, similar situation here for the Netherlands. They're lying one on the button. The red stone belongs to them. Corner freeze being called for.
Go ball. Go ball. Hey, I stayed him out. Go fear. Hey, Nick. Go off the fear. Helemaal niks. Freeze him. I freezed him.
Is it going to bounce off a little bit? No,
Glass,
that's
Virgin,
nicely.
and Hookman. Just spectators on that one. Not really a chance to lay the brush on the ice for Walter Huskins.
We don't want to, or we do?
No, don't want to
Don't want to hit the yellow? No. You want to hit at least half of this. Okay.
Brad Gushu tell us exactly where this shot's going to go.
Whoa.
Stick with it. Stick with it.
Should be fine, guys. Mark Nichols is a personal trainer. And look at the power he's put in this one. Away we go.
Yep, pumping iron there, Mark Nichols.
Good shot. Shot, Mark.
Scatters everything.
Well, I know, but
Skip
he
was
had
happy with that.
A little more of the yellow.
Watch the rocks fly. This one had smoke coming out of it. So just the one stone in play now for the Netherlands, and Huskins being asked to remove the stone.
9,5. 9. Whoa. Go weg. Oh, nee.
This one needs to curl up a bit. They don't want to lose the shooter, but it rolls off the ring. So another half shot there.
Okay.
Nothing in play. So this one's shaping up like a blank end potentially.
Okay, Wout. Denk dat is goed. I would think so. It usually has been most games. Quarter two floor.
Alles gooide 3 tot 12, zeg maar.
Yeah. Felt the same as draw the button.
Bite the button, guys.
Walker and Gallant in charge of the weight. Heard Mark Nichols say, "We want to bite the button."
Oh. Good. Still good. It was probably the same as he threw.
Well, I got a 12 on it.
Yep, Van Dorp.
Dean. Yep. Whoa. Hard firm. Up.
He enjoys physics, Hans. So
Who doesn't enjoy physics?
not me.
10-3. Okay, ja, moet je staan, man.
But that maybe is the kind of brain you need for curling. It is that technical sometimes. I don't know, maybe.
There are a lot of calculations required at the skip position. There's no doubt about that.
Normal. Easy normal. Yep. Just clean. Clean. Clean.
Sometimes they say you don't have to be a rocket scientist to be a curler, but couldn't hurt, I think.
At this level in particular,
That was fun for you, yeah.
all sorts of qualities are required, especially as skip. And there's the Dutch coach. She's been with them a long time.
Yeah, Shirley Van Demmen has really
Clean.
worked with this team for a number of years. When they started competing at the European level, they were placing in the B division at like rank number 23, and she's just improved the team's performance year on year, and here they are up at the top level with the blank.
In the universe that is distinctively curling, the stars have now aligned to deliver the world's ultimate showdown to the world's entertainment capital. Whether you're a storied veteran of events past or a future superfan anxious to attend your first, this is the one. The 2018 World Men's in Las Vegas with our most popular package, the 9-day, 10-night hit and stay for 2 people for just $20.29.
Las Vegas rocks.
So on to end number 3 of our featured game at the Ford World Men's Curling Championship 2017. Hope you're enjoying the action. Good to have you with us. It's the Netherlands against Canada, and great start for Canada in that first end. 3 shots set the tone, and this Dutch team will hope to build something in end number 3 here.
Carla Glasbergen asked for the corner guard, and yeah, Allison, I think that second end there, even though there were some half shots, executing the blank will steady the ship a little bit for the Netherlands. Taking the hammer on into end number 3, so they can breathe now. They're into the match. Be looking to get their deuce here.
And curling in the Netherlands is a little bit different from curling in Canada, that's for sure. Still a relatively new sport to the country. Just 4 curling clubs in the whole country, and over 1,000 in Canada. And 1 million Canadians currently curl.
Switch if you can.
It is interesting to me because you don't actually think of the Netherlands as a winter sport nation. Then you think again and say, wait a minute. Every speed skater ever invented has been Dutch and have had enormous success. So certainly familiar with ice sports in the Netherlands, and perhaps this team will inspire others to follow.
And I was hearing that even Brad Gushu's success this year has made a few other teams in his part of the world start playing again.
Well, that's absolutely right, Allison. We mentioned that Gushu's team have been perennial champions of Newfoundland and Labrador province in Canada, representing them at the Canadian Championship, where teams from each province compete. So it's been really difficult for any other teams from that province to actually make their way past Brad Gushu to get to a Canadian Championship. But because now Gushu's team are the defending Canadian champions, they will earn a free entry into next year's Canadian Championships as so-called Team Canada. That means Newfoundland and Labrador will have a different representative for the first time in almost 2 decades. So I imagine there are a lot of people in Newfoundland and Labrador dusting off their curling shoes and thinking, we've got a shot at going to the Brier here, maybe we better work on our game a little bit.
Yeah, there's an opportunity, which is good for curling too.
Certainly is.
Get out. Okay.
There we go.
Double clear attempt there by the
Guard.
Canadians, but they leave the guard there. So even though all the stones are Canadian stones, if you're a fan of Team Netherlands, you're thinking, okay, make the double, roll underneath, and get a little bit something going here.
10. 10 Yep. 10 half. 10.
Yep. Hard, Jonas, hard. Hard, Hammer. Yep. Hard to stick it.
Just a quiet way to try and control the roll, but it rolls to the outside. Will it stay on the rings? Just.
Yeah.
They weren't too unhappy with that outcome.
Well, the key thing was to save the shooter. You would have liked to roll underneath the guard, but the guard's still there, and the Canadians are just going to eliminate stones here wherever they can. So they might get another chance to play the corner if they get an opportunity.
On the quiet side.
Yeah. Whoa. It's not bad.
Whoa. Weight's good.
Brett Gallant,
Clean. Clean.
another Islander from the Canadian province originally of Prince Edward Island.
I think he's got some fans here.
Well, the way he's been playing, he's been making fans all over the world this week, Allison. His play has been outstanding.
And just to know you've got someone like that on your team that, you know, just does the job.
Whoa. 10.
It's great for Team Canada.
Well, in the sport of baseball, you talk about being strong up the middle as the key to success for a baseball team. And this Team Gushu with Gallant and Nichols back-to-back in the middle of the lineup, I think are probably certainly as strong as any team here and maybe better than anybody in the world.
At this moment in time. 2 skips.
Here is Mark Nichols.
Quiet, normal.
Easy.
Little quiet. Yep. Hard. 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 Okay. Yeah, a little light. It's good.
Nose hit there. To the delight of the fans here at home.
Yep.
We have quite a lot of school children in this morning, getting a morning off school. I'm sure they'll.
It's the best. Morning off school, go and watch the World Men's Curling Championship. Life is good.
10 off. Whoa. 10 off.
Not that this part of the world needs any more curling inspiration, Allison. You mentioned this is sort of ground zero of performance curling, maybe on the planet, the city of Edmonton.
Yep.
We also have the centre, high performance centre here as well for the elite athletes at the University of Alberta. What an impressive facility that is. Athletes well looked after, well catered for.
Same weight, or do you want a little more?
Looking for a little more?
Yeah.
The science of curling is something that has certainly ratcheted up in the last 20 years since the introduction of the sport into the Winter Olympic program. And
Weight's good. No.
yes, you mentioned, Allison, that high performance center here in Edmonton, really taking it to another level. Half shot there by Nichols, so a bit of a surprise. Removes the Netherlands stone, but rolls out, so now a chance finally for Jaap van Dorp to use that corner guard.
You keep saying that, Hans.
It's coming now. This is the chance. Finally, here's the corner. Here's the corner. So Otto Hiskins has a chance now to wrap one around there. And if he does, Netherlands will be on for a 2.
12.
Intense focus on the brush there by Hiskins.
12 off. Top off. Look fear.
Top 8, top 4 in my
Yep.
Dutch translation manual.
Yep, yep.
Well by the guard, hoping for it to wrap, but sits in the open. So nice weight there, top 4, but not quite the berry that they were looking for around that corner.
I'm sure Brad Gushue can see most of that.
High enough in a good spot where I don't think he can really sink it there.
I was thinking that, but if you like that, play it.
Nah, I like this.
Hack? No, I like board.
Gushue
And roll it under. I think it's easier than rolling it away. But
electing board weight. And
You like away?
smart
No, I
play.
think rolling under.
Mark Nichols asked him, do you want to throw hack? And Brad said, no, I just want to throw board.
I think it's-
He doesn't want to
yeah,
take
I think it's
any
probably
chance of the
easier.
stone crashing
Yeah,
on the guard.
yeah.
Hiskins and Van Dorp looking on.
Really, if I could roll an inch under is good.
Yeah.
You like that ice?
I do. It should curl. Board.
Yep. Light, if anything.
Little light.
It's not bad.
Whoa. Board. Whoa. Whoa. Just board. Stay close. Clean it.
Whoa. Yep. No roll.
Oh, that is perfect. Great shot there by Gushue. Exactly what he said he wanted to do. I just want to roll an inch, he said, and did just that. Great shot.
Yeah, the accuracy, Hans, is
Yeah.
you know that is so difficult to do, to be as spot on as that.
We talked about this Canadian team and their high standards and their laser focus, and we heard right through the process of that shot. Hack weight, no. Board weight. Do you like the ice? Yes, I like the ice. It's going to move. Want to roll an inch underneath, and just that level of precision and execution.
And communication.
Absolutely right.
Okay, up.
If you're new to the sport, or if you're a young curler,
Back 4. Yeah.
that excellent communication and constructive communication between all 4 members of the sport, all 4 members of the team around making a shot.
Yeah.
Everybody has a part to play.
Absolutely right.
Okay, up.
So judging by the broom position here, looks to me like Van Dorp might be trying to use that stone in the 8-foot.
T-line.
It's kind of a corner guard and just try to tuck around it.
Yep. Yep. Top 8 op 4. Yep. Back 4. Yep. Hard. Freeze. Okay, freeze. Bijt af.
Okay, switching gears now. This one's over curling, so they're going to try and play a corner freeze instead.
Moet bijt af.
Plan A was to go around it, but now plan B is to freeze up to it. And it does, so Canada lies shot.
Okay, up. Okay. Okay, quick goal.
Good freeze though.
Good
Take
freeze.
plenty of ice, I guess.
Not much of a gap between the two.
No, so Gushue in response says, okay, yep, no, that's a
T-line.
good spot. I can't hit it anymore, so we will instead come around that overlap pair of stones.
T-line.
Yeah.
You can see they're almost welded. Might be room for a couple of sheets of paper between those 2 rocks.
It's a bit of
but
a new path here.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be far off the path you just threw.
A little less than that, Mark.
I got a 15-1 on his, so they got up there. So.
Okay, 15-1, they're talking about the split times between the hog line. And if it is 15-1, that's as pacey as the ice has been all week.
We can sweep it. You were T-line last
Which is good
game,
news
so
because on the first draw there was some trouble with frost and the ice was a bit slowish and players were a bit concerned about the playing conditions here, but as we progress through the week, the ice conditions seem to be getting better and better.
it's good.
T-line, guys. If anything, I thought it was there. Can't be top 4. Line's real good. Yep. Through. Weight only, guys.
Line's good. Line's real good.
nice.
Top button.
Line's good. Line's good. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Keep going.
Oh,
Keep
look
going.
at the effort here.
Clanton Walker dragging it all the way into the 4-foot, half around those overlap stones. Nice shot there by Brad Gushu.
Shot. Sweeping, Jeff. It's good. Sweeping.
Nice sweeping indeed.
Real good.
So Van Dorp cannot make a play on that stone to remove it because of the second Canadian stone counting in the 8-foot, so he will be forced to draw the button to save the end.
He just composes himself. Stone of the third.
Zelda.
Glasbergen and Hipman
Blijf.
Hard.
working this one right out of hand.
Lijn is nu goed. Helemaal door. Yep.
Seen how much these stones carry, so they should be able to drag it quite a distance, but being joined now by Huskins, they're trying to drag this into the button.
I think they're
Everybody
okay.
working
I
it.
think they're okay. Are they?
Oh,
my
agonizingly short.
goodness, how unlucky.
One yellow.
If you're Team Netherlands, just nothing going your way at all. And it was that stone from Brad Gushu that put him in that position in the first place. That all means a steal of 1. And after 3 ends, Netherlands 0, Canada 4.
So little.
Okay, there's the update very shortly coming as to how the other teams are faring. On sheet 8, Sweden and Scotland. Sweden 2 up. Norway are leading China. And Japan are leading Russia, third end. And you can see our featured game on sheet B. Great start for Canada after 3 ends. And the Netherlands will just have to try and rebuild, try and get something going in this next end.
Yeah, at this point, you're resetting your goals now for the match. You're wanting to get yourself back into the game, and after dropping a steal like that, really your mission is to score. So they'll be looking for the deuce, but they probably won't be pressing too hard. They'll want to make sure they get on the board and maybe try to change the momentum that way. Carla Glasbergen. 82% at the lead position for the tournament.
Really important he gets the placement for his team here, just to give them a chance of trying to score in this end.
Yeah, you can't win the game at lead, but you can certainly lose it with poor stone placement.
90% Jeff Walker hands.
Pretty solid.
Yeah. Every shot's a prisoner. Every shot for Canada, you would think they might just let one maybe, but every shot has to be absolutely precise and spot on. They have such exceptional standards.
Yeah, the teams at the top level and these elite teams will set themselves performance goals for the game. And in a 10-end game of curling, you've got 80 stones to play, and teams like Gushu's will be saying, okay, well, of those 80, we want to make roughly 80 of them. So trying to get the most out of every single shot of the game.
It's the level of professionalism.
Doesn't mean that they will make 80 of them. Maybe the occasional half shot here and there, but it's the approach. Taking nothing for granted, full focus right through the match.
Third. A third.
2/3 over the top, I guess, eh?
We mentioned Brad Gushu's journey to here. Mentioned that he and Mark Nichols on this team, Olympic gold medalists in 2006. And Brett Gallant, his tournament average at 90% at the second stone is amazing. Gallant and Walker were not part of that Olympic team. Their teammates at the time.
Gallant
One
is
of
23.
them, that's right. One of them right in the neighborhood here. Also here this week doing commentary. Legendary Canadian curler Russ Howard was part of that Olympic gold medal team with Brad Gushu and Mark Nichols. Also Jamie Korab and Mike Adam, who I know were following Team Gushu back in Newfoundland and supporting him. Lawrence Hookman at 75% at second stone.
Komt ie.
We'll be looking to improve that as the week progresses.
Gaat heel hard nu.
And they'll have set their own performance standards as well. Team Netherlands.
Perfect. Mooi stelen.
Very much so. And
That's a nice stone.
it is. Nice tight corner. You can do a few different things with that if you get the opportunity. You can split it, tap it up.
That is the key thing. If
Yeah.
you get the opportunity, if Gushu and his team just have a slight half shot, half miss, half something, that's what the Netherlands are looking at here.
Yes, it's a patience game for them. They have to wait it out and hope for that half shot. Doesn't mean you always get it, but you do set yourself up in anticipation. It's the only realistic way to generate multiple points.
So we see this arm cover on the left arm. Is that purely for
Whoa.
temperature, or is there an injury there? Of some
Well,
kind?
I notice all of the, well, Mark Nichols is certainly wearing that as well, and seems to be a thing. I'm not entirely sure of the science behind the thing, but clearly they believe it's helping perhaps their stability with the downward pressure on the brushing, and maybe because there's a lot of wear and tear, I can tell you. And Jeff Walker in the Canadian Championship had some real issues with his shoulder, and
I mean, that is one of shoulders and back, so they kind of, and knees sometimes.
yeah.
Curling injuries
Yep, hard Jonas.
with the amount of pressure that they're
Hard, hammer hard.
putting their bodies under.
And the speed of the brush movement, so you get some real repetitive strain
go, go.
happening
See
in the
that?
shoulder area and the upper forearm.
Yep.
Just taps that one.
So things are stacking up interestingly here. 3 in a line along the center line. Yellowstones belong to the Canadians, but Team Netherlands now just trying to stack them up and create some potentials of jams. I like the approach. They're doing all they can to try and manufacture, so they're not playing defensively just to score. They're still trying to generate multiple points. So full credit Team Netherlands, playing the game, trying to win. Gushu now asking for Nichols to rip this corner.
It's the first real time they've
I
had
think
a
I like the feel.
I was saying I don't
Discussion.
hate throwing a guard, but I don't mind this call either. I just said
That's probably my least favorite option at this
okay.
point.
Well,
If there was one more, I'd like the guard.
Boys at the other end saying, we're lying too, Brad. Why don't we just guard it?
That's fine.
Gushu replying, that's probably my least favorite option. So no doubt in Brad's mind, the corner guard's the danger shot. So here is Mark Nichols, also at 90%.
Yep. 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 Hard. 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 Whoa. Whoa.
Oh, look at that.
crowd enjoying that one. Lots of children in this morning. Textbook stuff from Team Canada.
Man.
And Mark Nichols.
Watch this. Not only clears the corner, but
I think it's
kills
better
the
rolling
Dutch
that a
stone
bit
as well.
than to stick it right on the-
And look
Oh,
at
yeah.
where it finishes too.
We keep sweeping, it goes through.
So everything that the Dutch do, Canada always seem to have something better.
Brad Gushu going about his
This is
business
it, yep.
here. Canada unbeaten here, 7-0 coming into this match.
Whoa. Oh. Whoa.
But they are very much, it's a major sporting cliche, but they are taking it one game at a time. Not looking ahead to the playoffs or
Okay, game out.
any dreams of an unbeaten run.
Okay, out.
Huskins rearranging the stones a little bit. Mark Nichols will be revving up the engine again.
Here he goes. Not quite as much on this one.
Yeah. It's only a semi-vapor trail shot here.
Oh, look at that nose right in. Fantastic stuff.
This kills the Netherlands stone. Does create a pocket though here for Jaap van Dorp to maybe use.
Yeah, you could nestle in nicely in there. Forward sign.
Yeah, looking to put it right between those two Canadian stones, and
Yeah.
if Huskins can put it there, maybe that's the way that Team Netherlands will be generating their deuce. 76% for the tournament for
Top af. Top af.
Wouter, and
Hey, top 14 lijn.
an absolutely amazing learning experience for him at this
Oh, lijn.
top level of the sport.
Bounce naar haar. Alleen lijn. Af. Bounce naar haar.
And he is enjoying the challenge.
Helemaal niks.
Speaking to the team briefly
Bounce
before the game. Very excited about playing.
Just needed that curl just a fraction more, maybe 2 feet more weight than was necessary.
Probably okay, Mark.
That would place the tap
And
again, but
perhaps
if
a
we
bit of
were fine too,
inexperience there, Allison. Just
And
Right.
yeah, for him,
never let the
if we're
sweepers in
there
the
and he
shot.
plays the tap,
So
he's here.
no opportunity to
There's gonna be
influence
a
the
ton of
path to the stone or to
separation.
maneuver it into
Right.
position. So
Nose is
when
probably
you're throwing
okay.
draws like
Even though
that,
it'll
you're trying
roll
to
on
typically
top of
throw
this,
it drop
so
top of the
you're
house and let your sweepers bring it in the rest of the way.
You like that, Brett? I think we're high
We did
enough
mention that the ice is a bit pacier today,
my
so
next one,
And maybe also
His
inexperience at the
tap,
other
he's
end
here.
in terms of
nose are a little
Everything
roll.
really anyway.
the line and how it's been guided.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So not a poor shot by any means. They are lying one, but did want that one to curl another 3 or 4 inches and
What'll last, Mark?
set up jams on
Almost
both
middle.
angles.
I don't mind rolling.
Okay.
So, like nose, I don't think it's going to fly out either. So I want to make sure we're at least nose.
At least no, says Gushu. 92% of the skip position. That is extraordinary.
He'll probably be
weight.
disappointed.
Yeah, I left 8 on the table.
Right to it. Keep it on that side.
Right to it.
Now watch where this one flies. Away it goes.
Perfect. Warner freezes his own. Brad Gushu putting on a show.
You know, these are not easy shots. These are not easy shots, and he
Yeah, I just didn't want to
Still
pulls it
square.
off.
square. Yeah.
Just a perfect little roll. Corner freezes his own and leaves Van Dorp no option other than to throw weight at it. And you know that Van Dorp doesn't want to do that. Van Dorp would much rather be drawing to something or freezing something, try to generate a deuce. But look at that stone placement, locked right on in front of the tee line, giving the Netherlands no option but to hit it. Great stone positioning.
Okay. Hard to minute, Rob.
There's another Canadian stone there. We see it on the right-hand side of our picture. So Van Dorp can double these off, and he'd like to roll over somewhere in front of that one to set up a potential jam.
Aknoof. Yep.
Important stone for Netherlands here. If they're going to get anything out of this end.
Hard. Even door. Yep. Yep.
Can't over curl, otherwise it'll jam.
Oh, nicely done.
Does jam the stone, but enough momentum to take it out of the rings. Nice double take out there by Jaap van Dorp. Low 5s from Carlos Glasbergen.
I was doing niet zo hard, hè?
ik wil 8-0.
Okay.
And a fist bump.
Prima.
It's kind of the thing now, isn't it? For the
gewoon
younger
zit.
teams, I'm a bit past that. You know, I'm just sort of, courteous nod type of guy. But the fist bump does seem to be the congratulations of choice for the under 25 crowd.
That easy normal.
That team are certainly under 25, apart from the skip.
That's right. The old man Van Dorp at 27.
Under 21, more like.
In average age terms, this Netherlands team is by far the youngest team at this competition.
Here's Brad Gushu.
Good normal.
Fantastic
Clean.
first stone from him.
Normal.
We expect that red to disappear, hit some sticks.
So that does generate the force. Canada's lying too, so Van Dorp will have to hit and stick and take the 1 point. Hiskins holding the target for his skip. Yep, Van Dorp.
10, ja.
We watched him in the last end, or was it the first end? I can't remember now. Come up short.
10. Oh, hard firm. Oh.
Yes, had to draw the button on the third.
Yep.
Agonizingly short, but this is a hit.
Yep.
Sweeper's working it, trying to hold the line.
Okay,
And nicely executed by Jaap Van Dorp. So
Yep.
the Netherlands open their account.
They have a point on the board, which I'm sure will be a bit of a relief for them. A well-played end and claiming a point. Netherlands 1, Canada 4.
In the universe that is distinctively curling, the stars have now aligned to deliver the world's ultimate showdown to the world's entertainment capital. Whether you're a storied veteran of events past or a future superfan anxious to attend your first, this is the one. The 2018 World Men's in Las Vegas with our most popular package, the 9-day, 10-night hit and stay for 2 people for just $20.29.
Las Vegas rocks.
The end now of our feature game between the Netherlands and Canada. If you're just joining us, welcome. This is round robin action from the Ford World Men's Curling Championship 2017 inside the Northlands Coliseum in Edmonton in Canada. We're in Western Canada. They absolutely love their curling here. Everybody talks about it. 11 clubs alone in the Edmonton area, just in the city. And around 180 in the province of Alberta. So if you want to learn anything about curling, this is the place to be. And we're seeing some fantastic action hands from Team Canada here.
Absolutely right, Alison. They're putting on a bit of a curling clinic for the very knowledgeable curling fans of Edmonton and fans from all around the world. It's not just Canadian flags here in the auditorium, but we see Scottish flags, Chinese flags, Japanese flags. So fans from all around the world here this week to support their teams as they strive to become world champion. A couple of center guards stacking up now.
So if you're Team Netherlands, what are you thinking in this end?
Well, this end could kind of go one of two ways. You've given away the hammer, so part of you is thinking, well, we're down 3, we're going to have to steal here, so you could gamble and try to build up a steal, but against a team of Gushu's caliber, you'd be very much playing with fire there.
So do you think damage limitation more than
well,
that?
I would say steal with caution. We've got 2 center guards, and we've seen 1 stone now by Walker promoted and pushed into the rings, and so ideal situation now for the Netherlands. You can just freeze up to it. This is a pretty low risk situation for them. Ideal really if you're trying to generate a steal. Hookman would love to sit right on top of that stone, maybe just a tiny bump, but it's all about the line. Oh, that's pretty good. Maybe over curled a fraction, but
there's some cover there.
Yep, and he just moves that Canadian stone back a couple of inches, and that's quite important if Team Netherlands is hoping for the steal. So Gushu immediately saying, okay, now these guards are troubling me. Brett Gallant.
A face of determination there, Hans.
That's right. These guards are facing extinction with determination like that facing them. Hookman again. Just trying to add to the pile, create more traffic. Actually electing the guard, sorry about that. Short of the rings, just replacing the one that Brett Gallant just removed. So Gushu again will ask Gallant for a repeat performance of clearing guards.
Not filled this morning, the arena, but they're been very vocal supporting this Canadian team. Lots of youngsters in from schools around the city. And there goes that guard too.
Keeping you warm, buddy.
Thanks.
It's a great occasion for school children to have a chance to have a look at a World Championship event right in their hometown.
And hopefully be inspired to take up curling or
No doubt.
progress in their curling careers.
No.
As with all the fans, hopefully watching in the Netherlands.
I'm sure that's true, and you can be very proud of your team. They've competed creditably this week and fighting hard here against this top-ranked Canadian team. So,
And they've beaten everybody else so far as well, so.
yeah.
And by quite a long way in some of the games too.
That's true. Team Gushu is looking a bit like a juggernaut this week. But it is a top-class field, and things can change really, really quickly. Momentum can shift, so. Talked earlier about the focus of this Gushu foursome, and they'll be reminding themselves of that. It is a long week. They're playing a full 11-game round robin. It's a bit like a journey through the wilderness. You know where the destination is, but sometimes along the way, you get a little Bit of rain, a bit of slip, things happen. and
Tree falls on the road.
Tree falls on the road, and all of a sudden you've got a detour. So they know that that journey is not complete yet.
Hey. Hey.
A very wise curling coach once told me, Allison, that you can prepare all you like, and you want to prepare for every eventuality possible. Prepare all you like, but no matter how much you prepare, something's going to happen that you weren't expecting. And
Top 4.
you can't control that. And athletes really do want to try and control everything they can in the situation, but the coach's point was you can't control everything. Something's going to happen.
So control the things you can control.
Control what you can control, but also the things that you can't control, what you can control is your reaction to it. And those are quite profound words. Actually, they've sort of become my mantra in life.
And that's the same in every sport.
Indeed.
Not just curling. At the back of your mind, there's that tiny percentage of the unpredictable.
Line's good. Hard, Jeff. Looks really light. Hard.
But you can also prepare to minimize these aspects as well.
Well, that comment about controlling your reaction is the key one. So when the unexpected happens, you do have a choice as to how you react to it. You can throw your toys and lose your temper, or you can reflect, consider, and then decide to throw your toys and lose your temper. But at least you've thought about it, and it's very empowering to know that you do have a choice.
And having interviewed athletes over the years, I've seen both those reactions from different people when those things have happened. And I've seen the toys being thrown out the pram, and I've seen the more considered, reflective approach. But emotions run high, it's
Absolutely.
in top level sports, so it's hard to control.
It is. It seems very unfair sometimes that bad things happen in sport when you've spent your entire life preparing for something to reach a pinnacle and something unexpected happens. And
and Brad Gusher would feel that because he's been trying to get to this, World Championship for a long, long time, and he must have felt that, look, I've played well all these years. Why hasn't it happened for me?
Exactly. Lost 2 Canadian finals. Am I ever going to get to a World Championship? That's a fantastic analogy, and you're exactly right, Allison. How do you take that? How do you take that as learning? And
year after year after year after
exactly.
year. And yet, for anyone watching and in similar positions, he got here. He got here.
Absolutely, he did.
And don't give up. Don't give up. Perseverance is key in sport.
Well, in my experience, Allison, the very best athletes, and these are some of the very best athletes in this sport, are relentlessly looking for improvement. No matter how well they're doing, no matter how dominant they seem to be at any particular level, they're always searching for improvement.
Probably he's going to sit there. That'd be bad. But
Even the tiniest thing that will give them the edge.
Absolutely
run
right.
it. Run it somewhere in the pocket here.
Okay. You got all of it?
Getting busy in there, Hans.
Yeah, small party in the forefoot here.
The stuffing would be wonderful.
We might play a hack waiter.
Yeah.
If we miss this one, it's okay.
Actually shaving this.
Yellowstone belongs to Canada, but there's real danger in front of them.
Is that 7/8?
So off the top of this end, we're asking the question, how is the Netherlands going to approach it? Are they going to be defensive and just try for a force, or will they take an opportunity to try and generate a steal? And it's certainly been the latter. That nice early corner freeze has generated some traffic, and we're going to see some heat here from Skip Gushu, trying to run that stone back into the pile. He knows he runs the risk of losing his own, but he wants to move these Dutch stones.
Yep.
Yep. Whoa.
Yep.
Yep. Whoa. Whoa. Yeah. Yes. Whoa.
Oh, how good is that?
And look at the crowd enjoying that. Great stuff from the Canadians, Skip.
Yeah. Not much of a hole there. I think to get through, he almost over curls it. So.
Precision shooting there from Canadian skip Brad Gushu. Look at this. We talked about searching for perfection. He was actually hoping to stuff his own behind the guards. He's actually disappointed that his own popped out into the edge of the 8-foot. Let's have a look at the updates of the other games, Alison.
Let's see what's going on. This is our featured game, but elsewhere it's 9-2 for Japan over Russia, fifth end. China-Norway, that's a close one, 2-1 to China at the moment. And the Sweden-Scotland game, Sweden taking the lead there, 4-1. Fifth end picking up a couple of shots in the fourth there, Team Sweden.
Yeah, it's a big one for Team Japan. They lost an extra end game yesterday to John Schuster and Team USA. That dropped them to 4-3, but chance now with a victory over Russia to move to 5-3. The Up Van Dorp back in our feature match. Elf, I'm thinking, is 11, so that's probably backline weight.
Je blauw nu. Hard. Cardo, roll. Alles wat je hebt. Alles wat je hebt, Cardo. Hij is goed.
Looking for a little inside roll, and they get it.
Okay.
Second shot.
Okay, up. Let's try that.
Trying a bit of a setup shot there. They were hoping to maybe roll a little bit further and sit in front of the Canadian stone. They were never going to get shot.
Not going to get the same path. Remember we threw here against China and they were tracking a little bit out this far?
I love it. Here's Brad Goucher referencing a shot in an earlier game on this sheet. They're going quite wide.
Probably is. I don't mind a little more. I just don't want to go too far.
No, and that's what I'm worried about.
I think you just throw it a little back. Yeah.
You like it?
Yeah.
We're gonna be, should be tight to the top. 3 to 4 feet more, right?
Yeah.
I think 4 to 6 to draw to the button.
Just using the draw to the button as their reference point for weight and saying to Brad, you probably need about 4 to 6 feet because you're going wide on the sheet into some fresher ice.
Mine's
What's he
good.
going to end up with here in end number 5?
Back 4.
Has to get a piece of the 4-foot to get his deuce after that stone from Van
You're by
Dorp.
the guard.
Weight's getting on the T-line.
Put it on the
Wait,
tee.
wait.
You're by the guard.
T-line.
Tee and you're good. Curling now. Curling now.
This is looking nice.
Shot. Nice shooting.
Another perfectly placed stone for Goucher and Canada. They pick up their deuce and extend their lead
I feel like Harold and Kumar.
in this game. Controlled it right from the start. Just a couple there.
Highlights of our feature match in session 12 between the Netherlands and Canada play in end number 1 for Canadian skip Brad Gushue. It's an open hit. Chance to score 3 in the first end. Gushue makes it perfectly, and Canada is off to an outstanding start. Unbeaten coming into this game and off to a flyer in the third end. 3 Canadian stones in the rings, 2 of them counting, and so Netherlands skip Jaap van Dorp has to draw the button to save the end. Coast to coast sweeping from his team, desperately trying to get it to the button, but they come up just agonizingly a couple of centimeters short, so it's a steal of 1 for Canada. In the 5th end, 1 Canadian stone on the button, guards in the front, so a tricky attempt here for Canadian skip Brad Gushue, having to go quite wide to draw around those guards to get his second point, but he puts it right on the tee line. So the Canadian champions at the midpoint of the game, well ahead, 6-1.
And there are the stats which
Oh, look at those
enhance
shooting
our
percentages
story.
for the Canadians.
But you know,
my gosh.
good shooting too from the Netherlands. You know, those percentages are still pretty good.
It's absolutely competitive, but boy, oh boy, the Canadian shooting percentages are just about off the planet.
You know, nobody would have much chance against that, really.
No, that's...
And just the 1 stolen point and 6-1 scoreline.
Yeah, so the team from the Netherlands are fighting hard and doing what they can to try and generate offense, but when you're facing near perfection like they're facing today against this Canadian team, it makes it really difficult. And if you're a fan of high performance curling, you're enjoying the display that's being put on by the Canadian team. They are really showing us all what's possible in this sport.
So the teams are having a quick bite to eat, quick chat with their coaches, refreshing themselves for part 2. What will be the word in Team Netherlands group, Hans?
Well, they'll be saying you guys are in this game. You know, you're behind on the scoreboard, so it's time to reset your performance goals for the second half. And I'm sure Coach Sherry Liebrandt-Demmen was probably telling her team, you know, hang in there, guys. Treat this like a new game. Try to win the second half of the game. You may not win the game on the scoreboard, but treat this like a 5-end mini game. Try to win the 5-end mini game starting 0-0. And take that off the ice with you when the game's all finished.
In Canada, just more of the same.
Yeah, in the Canadian camp, it will be just that. I'm sure Coach Jules Oucher saying to the team, you're in there solid now. You've got a good solid lead, but keep your focus. They're having an outstanding game. He says, don't let that slide. Carry it out.
Yep, keep the performance levels up. So here we go, in number 6. Lead player, Carlo Glasbergen.
Having a nice game here at 85%. One thing you have to say about Team Netherlands, they definitely have the most eye-catching jerseys of any team out here this week, Allison.
Lots of colors going on there.
You always know when Team NL is in town. Just look for the orange.
Looking at some facts about Carlos, and his sports hero is his coach. He's clearly trying to keep in with the coach there, isn't he?
Somebody's looking for a place in the team there.
Alongside Roger Federer.
Okay, well, that's a pretty good sporting hero to have.
Good shot.
2 stones there from Jeff Walker, stacked right up in a line in the center of the house for Gushue. Netherlands with the hammer here on end number 6, so yeah, Van Dorp will ask for another guard. Nice stones there from Glasbergen, getting things set up for the Netherlands. And Allison was talking about their road to qualification. If you're not familiar with how teams qualify to get to this Ford World Men's Curling Championships, it is a regional qualification. Look at Gallant.
Really gotta go.
Hard to be better than
Go.
perfect,
Stay
isn't
with
it?
him. Should be good. Good.
Unbelievable. Don't want to give him the commentator's curse. I don't even want to say the number.
I think that he's. I don't think the commentator's curse would work on him somehow.
Probably impervious to the commentator's
yeah,
curse.
I think it does happen though quite a lot. We pinpoint the success of some of the athletes, and they have a nightmare shot after it. So Lawrence Hoekman certainly.
He's hanging in there
Yeah,
against the juggernaut.
You know, he's-
Brett Gallant.
He might not look as if he's enjoying it, but he certainly is.
Yeah.
Good.
This Netherlands team, anytime you've talked to them or heard somebody who's spoken with them this week, the common denominator is just so excited to be here. This is a big, big deal playing in your first World Championships. I can recall my first World Championships, and it was like being in curling wonderland.
Kitty in a sweetie shop.
Absolutely. Quite literally.
Gotta go.
Gallant again with the perfect clear. We're talking about the qualification method though, so 12 nations here, and 2 come from the Americas zone, that's North and South America. 8 come from Europe, and 2 come from the Pacific Asia zone. And so for the Netherlands to get here, in the European Championships, there are so many nations competing that they actually have 3 flights. They have an A flight, a B flight, and a C flight.
Make sure, boys.
The A flight consists of 10 teams. And they play a competition. Top 7 teams from that A flight competition qualify to play in the World Championships. The 8th ranked team has to play a 2 out of 3 playoff with the winner of the B flight to determine who is the 8th European team to come to the World Championship. And this year, the Netherlands won the B flight.
Normal.
That pitted them against 8th ranked Austria in a 2 out of 3 match that went down to the 3rd match. And the Netherlands prevailed, and so for the first time since 1994, we have a team from the Netherlands here at the Ford World Men's Curling Championship. And Mark Nichols at 85%. Steady, steady, steady.
Oh, what's happened to him?
Yeah, he's in a slump. He's at 85. We are used to seeing numbers in the 90s for Mark.
All the way, or?
This is rolling over nicely, though.
Yeah, it is a very nice stone.
Yeah, so
Nichols and Gushu have competed together since junior level. They did split for a couple of years, and Mark took a year off, but they've reunited, and they're really just a dynamic combination at third and skip.
They won World Junior title together in 2001. %73% for Wouter.
A little instability there on the slide, but nice recovery.
Hard low. Okay.
Noses that Canadian stone in the 12-foot, so. Netherlands doing whatever they can to generate something.
Okay.
They've got the hammer here, but Canada with an answer for every question the Dutch are asking.
That was perfect weight. Yeah.
Air more. Pretty close.
I was thinking she'd
Waste it. Whoa.
Yep.
Yep.
Hard.
Yep.
Hard.
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 Hard roll. Good shot.
Nice shot there by Nichols. But Allison, when we were talking about the increasing depth of curling in Europe in particular, and
Sweeping, Jeff.
in the last 15 years, not only teams like the Netherlands, but talented team emerging from countries like Turkey, like Estonia,
Hungary,
like Latvia,
Belarus.
Slovenia, Belarus. Austria we mentioned, and so there's definitely a growing pool of talented curling nations that many in the world are just unaware of. But those that are competing at the European level are certainly aware of.
Yeah, then they're progressing through that C group and into the B group, and no doubt at some point be challenging, like the Netherlands did,
Okay, came out.
Absolutely right.
the A group. And then onward to the Worlds. You expect to see some new names at these World Championships over the coming years for sure.
Yeah, we talked about the evolution of the sport, and I did a bit of analysis earlier on this year. In the 1980s, the World Curling Championship was a 10-nation event, and in the early 1980s, there were only 16 nations worldwide that were actually trying to qualify to be there. Well, now the Ford World Men's Curling Championship is a 12-nation event, but last year, 48 nations in Europe, Pacific, Asia, Americas were attempting to qualify, and there's that number again for Brad Gushu and Skip. Having an amazing game. So the international growth of curling, which is absolutely attributable to its role in the Olympic program, is on an upward crest.
You know, and more countries are coming on board all the time. I think with the current membership of the World Curling Federation, something like 54, and more are applying all the time.
Yes. Countries like Mexico are now members of the World Curling Federation. I know in my part of the world, in the Pacific Asia zone, we now have teams from Qatar, Kazakhstan, Hong Kong, now competing and improving very quickly. So
and facilities are getting better, and
they are
all the time.
They absolutely
And
are.
knowledge about the game. There was a spell where you would see quite a lot of Canadian coaches heading out to Asia to spread the knowledge, spread the word.
Yep.
You know, and here's Jaap van Dorp, 85% for the skip, Hans.
Solid game for Jaap van Dorp. He's played well all week, and as have teammates. They've been in games. We mentioned their game last night against Peter de Cruz's Swiss outfit. That one went down to the very last rock of the game, and if I was handicapping the field, I would say that de Cruz foursome would be one that you would say are in medal contention. So
to run them so close is...
Absolutely.
Yep.
They've got the game, no doubt about it. But this Canadian foursome, they've certainly got game as well. Brad Gushu is really on a mission this week. We mentioned that been an Olympic champion. Now he wants to be able to call himself a world champion.
Will there be a happy ending to the story? It's been a great story this year for this team. And it's so far so good.
Nose hit there.
Good end.
Yeah, good end is the comment from Mark Nichols. Keeping it tidy.
6-1 lead, as you can see there. And Canada off to a great start with a 3 in the first end.
So final stone now for Jaap van Dorp.
Clean. Yep. Yep.
Playing the blank and executing it well. Nichols is going to double check. Yes, that stone is off the ring, so it is in fact a blank end.
It is, so things stay as is in number 6. Netherlands 1, Canada 6.
In the universe that is distinctively curling, the stars have now aligned to deliver the world's ultimate showdown to the world's entertainment capital. Whether you're a storied veteran of events past or a future superfan anxious to attend your first, this is the one. The 2018 World Men's in Las Vegas with our most popular package, the 9-day, 10-night hit and stay for 2 people for just $20.29.
Las Vegas rocks.
You're watching live coverage of the Ford World Men's Curling Championship 2017 here at the Northlands Coliseum in Edmonton in Canada. Hope you're enjoying the action. This is Alison Walker and Hans Frauenlob, New Zealand Olympian, guiding you through this, our feature game between the Netherlands and Canada. Round robin action, getting to the middle part of the week, and crucial games going on elsewhere in the arena. Canada unbeaten, Netherlands yet to get off the mark, but putting in some really good performances this week. And certainly not outfazed by this Canadian team. Just facing a team, Hans, that's at the top of, absolutely at the top of their game.
Yeah, Team Gushu is definitely firing on all cylinders this week, unbeaten, and we saw some of the mid-game shooting percentages for Team Canada.
Not a whole lot left.
Kind of in that perfection zone that you always strive for, but are never quite satisfied that you've reached. So Canada on 7-0. You mentioned we're at the midpoint of the week. We're just sort of crested the mountain really in this 11-game round robin. Canada's on 7-0, and if they can hang on here to run out the victory against the Netherlands, they would move to 8-0, and if you're doing the maths, you'd say that locks up a playoff place for them. Did mention that there are some key games going on other sheets as well that have got playoff implications. A lot of teams fighting for their playoff lives here this morning. You put Scotland into that category, China, Japan, Norway. So everything to play for on a crisp spring morning, you would have to say, in Edmonton, Alison?
It was when we drove in here this morning. It was a little chilly. Beautiful morning, blue skies. Really is a lovely part of the world. Western Canada we are.
Brett Gallant showing that steely determination that's been a feature of his play. Another perfect guard clear for him.
And we were talking about those other games. Let's give you an update. Sweden are leading Scotland 4-2, sixth end. On sheet C, it's a close one. Norway and China 3-2. Norway in the seventh. And Japan looking comfortable in that game against Russia. 9-3 up now, so a valuable win on the cards there for Japan, which keeps them in the mix.
Very much so. We mentioned playoff positioning. The other thing that's of equal importance this week is ranking in the position of the field earns countries Olympic qualification points. So teams are not only trying to reach the playoffs here in the World Championship, which is massively important, but they're also trying to earn their country qualification into the 2018 Pyeongchang Winter Olympics.
And this is the last chance to do that. The last couple of years, World Championship points, they're the ones that count. So even teams that are not here could still get to the Olympics, like Denmark, for example, who have accrued some points. So it all depends what happens at the end of this competition.
Gallant just tickles that one and propels it to the side of the sheet. Well, that's exactly right, Alison, in terms of Olympic qualification. The Olympic curling event will be a 10-nation event. Host nation Korea is guaranteed a place, so there are 9 other places at stake. 7 countries will directly qualify through World Championship performance, and that's what all of these teams are trying to achieve this week, get themselves into that top 7. But if you miss that top 7, there's one more chance. There's the Olympic qualifying event, which will be held in Pilsen in the Czech Republic in December. Any team that's competed at World Championship level in the Olympic cycle, or third place teams out of Pacific Asia, are eligible to compete in that Olympic qualifier. 2 countries will come from there and round out the field for Pyeongchang.
And that really is last chance saloon for the teams that don't manage to do it here.
It certainly is, and one of our broadcast colleagues, Anne Swisshelm from the USA, did mention the performance arc of teams, and this Netherlands team would be a good example that they will be eligible to qualify or to play in that Olympic qualifying event. So they'll take this experience that they've gained here at the World Championship this week in Edmonton,
It's really difficult
use
to
the
jam
summer
on
and the
that.
early part of the new season in the Northern Hemisphere to
Jamming on
prepare
that,
for
it's
that
your
Olympic
fault.
qualifier, and they still have a shot at qualifying for Pyeongchang.
Just as long as it's not
Yep, and a pretty
gonna
good
jam on the
shot
other
as
one,
well.
but it should be
Oh,
spinning.
he'd have to miss it drastically
No,
to jam
off
this.
the red.
What does he
Well,
do
if
if we
it's
just
off the
straight?
red, this one's gone.
What if we just straight peel it, Brad?
Let's try this. Here we go.
Okay, a little experimentation going on here for Team
Am I giving it
Canada.
a go?
Mark Nichols saying, why don't we just straight
A
peel it?
piece?
Quarter.
Brad Gushu saying, we can
Not
hit
a
a
quarter.
yeah, hit a quarter of that, run it into the red
Are we
one.
going across the top?
No,
No,
that looks real thin.
Oh, okay.
It's quarter on.
it's thin, Mark.
Thick quarter might be okay, but a quarter.
Yeah, probably more like a third. A quarter might jam it. Just wants to clip the back of that second red stone. Wow.
Here we go.
Yep, yep. Whoa.
Don't be light. That's not light. Nice stone there from Nichols. Doesn't quite squeeze the Dutch stone out of the rings, but he repositions it to the back 12 foot.
And
It's amazing the body control that Mark Nichols has to be able to throw that kind of weight with accuracy.
the stability.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Rock solid
But
every
it
time.
was-
There's no
That was
movement,
easily a
no
quarter.
movement from the body at all.
And there are lots of players that throw it hard. You can really propel a stone just by pushing it with your arm, but to get that kind of forward momentum with the perfect combination of rocketing out of the hack squarely into great body position and just extension, and you're generating the speed with your leg instead of your arm.
It's the full body that he's
Totally
using.
is.
Yeah.
Upper body strength, perfect balance, and Mark Nichols is a thing of beauty to watch as he's rocketing out of the hack.
You do see a lot of players with that arm extension, they're
Yeah.
kind of quite gentle almost, and then the
Yeah, and the big
That bit of
push,
oomph.
and what that can often do is just with the release and the push can veer the stone very slightly off course. And when you're throwing that kind of weight very slightly off course, gets magnified because the stone is traveling so quickly. So to be able to slide straight, slide fast, slide hard, and release well keeps that stone right on a rail. And you'll often see the skips put the brush down, and that's exactly where the rock goes. In golf terms, you'd say you'd putt it through the break. In curling terms, you just throw it so hard and so straight, the stone never has a chance to curl.
that's what's going wrong with my golf.
You're putting it through the break a little bit too often, Allison?
Oh, much,
Jam it into the back of the hole?
Much worse than that. Doesn't stop me trying though.
Back forward. Back forward.
Right, so Team Netherlands,
Yep, up the line. Hard,
6-1 down.
hard, John. Back forward. Yep, hard. Hammer there.
Good news for them is that the stones are back of the tee line, so something to work with. Slight over curls there, attempted freeze.
Wat word je? Ik had 3-9.
4-0. Die 97. 7.
You want to stick around? Yep.
When you throwing just normal?
Normal. Okay.
And there we see the brush position from Brad Gushu.
Firm.
A little less weight here from Nichols on this shot.
Oh, weight's good.
Weight's good.
Off.
He wants him
Close.
to stick around here.
Yep. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Doesn't really mind if he loses the back stone, but he picks it off and he rolls to the wing
Okay, that's fine.
A little big.
into third shot position. So only a half shot there, you'd have to say, for Mark Nichols. So a possible deuce on the card still here for Team Netherlands.
I'm going back to the Olympics for a second, Hans.
Yeah.
Qualifying their countries for the Olympic Games in Pyeongchang.
Yes.
But the teams we see here won't necessarily be the teams that will go to Korea next year. Some will, but for example, Canada, there's a whole load of teams that could be in the frame for representing Canada from the sheer depth that they have.
Yes, every nation has a different system for selecting their Olympic representative. You mentioned Canada. They will have an Olympic trial event.
Maar je lengt eraf.
Okay.
which will have, I believe, a 10-team field. So for the top Canadian teams, they've been jockeying for position to be one of those teams at the trial. Other nations will select a team. They'll nominate a team of players based on a high-performance system and every variation in between. But you're absolutely right. The teams here don't necessarily, even if they earn their nation a place into the Olympic Games, doesn't mean that they're going. It means their nation's going.
But some countries might, because it's possibly the only top-level team that they have. For example, the Netherlands.
That's absolutely correct. It'll be the Jaap van Dorp team that does represent the Netherlands at the Olympic qualifying event.
Oh, another fantastic stone.
Another routine nose hit double takeout for Brad Gushu.
Smoke behind it, that one there.
Heard that in a couple of games. We talked about Gallant and Nichols and their ability to throw big peel weight, and when their skipper does the same, it's almost like they're giving him a grudging, yep, you can do it too, Brad, but we can still throw it harder than you, but pretty good.
Good to have that kind of small little personal competitive edge amongst each other as well.
Absolutely.
Drives you on.
So those stones are still behind the tee line for Jaap van Dorp, so he'll still try this freeze. So I'll try and freeze the Canadian stone in the back of the forefoot, trying to generate that pair.
T-line.
Throwing his in turn.
Back four.
Top 4.
Alleen lengte, back four.
Kirkman and Glasbergen on the brushes.
Back four. Lijn is goed.
They like the line. They say the weight's about back four. They want to freeze to it, but they don't really want to bump it.
Alleen lengte. Alleen lengte, back four.
It's pretty close.
Yep.
Not a bad effort. They would have loved it another inch or two forward to make it very difficult for Gushu to run off, but here we see Laurens Hechman.
And would the sweeping have got them that bit further, do you think?
Well, they were on off all the way through down the ice. They were saying back four, back four. They knew they didn't want the bump, and again, that's just the experience thing, is when to sweep, when not to sweep.
And got to pretty well where that is.
Worrying
so
about the
maybe
line,
a
but we
little
can
bit
see
over.
where Gushu's putting the brush. He's conceding that
Yeah,
that's a
you were
pretty
off
good
the
freeze for
just
Van
off
Dorp,
the
so I can't really hit it.
Okay.
I'm just going to have to play,
line.
back line weight
Three-quarters.
confirmation there. Just try to nose hit it, and if he does, just on the inside, he'll corner freeze and lie shot.
What are you throwing, back line with that?
Back line. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that way I'd like to sit first, third, and fourth. Yeah. That looks like a lot.
It does.
Looks like a lot. Edge of the four.
What?
Okay, Gushu tightening up the ice quite a lot now.
You
We're
guys like that?
throwing here in the
Brad?
first end.
What's that?
Mark and I both threw here in the first end.
Yep.
Got a little curl.
You think I need more
I
than
don't. I don't mind right in between
The
those.
back
ices.
line, that should be pretty good.
Yeah, I like that.
Gallant offering a bit of caution, saying earlier in the game we threw down that
it's
path,
his
it
feet.
curled a bit. Gushu saying, I'm going to throw back line weight. It should be okay.
Back line.
Clean. Maybe a hair
Yep.
Hair light.
Yes. Yes.
Back line.
Weight's good.
Back 12.
Whoa.
Back line.
Oh, super strong brushing,
Back
holding the
line.
line dead straight.
No, never.
Curling now.
Never.
Maybe overswept. Yes, they did. So a little sweeping error from Team Canada there. They panic swept it.
Well, that's very gettable for Team Netherlands.
Ja, iets minder.
So Canada lies one, but there is a clear path for Jaap van Dorp to nose hit that and get a pair.
So a little bit to think about for Brad Gushu and his team.
He'll be disappointed. Out of hand, he liked the line, but called the sweepers on immediately. They worked it hard, and then about 3/4 of the way down the ice, they suddenly realized, wait a minute, we're holding it too well. A bit late on the sweeping call off, and the net result is it pops into the button position, but it's open and accessible here. Last rock on its way for Jaap van Dorp.
Alles! Ja! Nooit meer eraf!
First sign of a Canadian mistake. Can These guys take advantage.
Oh, will it stick around in the forefoot? Just uses all of the forefoot.
He was worried there. Yeah, but they made it, and delighted to get that. Well played from Team Netherlands' point of view. They get a good score. Couple of counters there after 7 ends. It's Netherlands 3, Canada 6. So, Netherlands fighting back in our featured game against Canada. Unbeatable team this week, Team Gushu. This is our featured game in this draw. And Canada still with a sizable lead in this game. We're in the Northlands Coliseum in Edmonton in Western Canada. And it's a hugely impressive facility and holds the record for overall attendance at the World Curling Championship. I think it was something like 185,000 people over the course of the event, which is phenomenal. Huge interest in curling in this part of the world, Hans, isn't there?
Oh, exactly right. Get a quick look at the comparison of the playing positions. Both Glasbergen and Jeff Walker having a nice game at lead for both teams. And yeah, the fans here in Edmonton really do support all sports, but in particular curling. And going back to that 7th end, that was a really nice skip's deuce from Jaap van Dorp. Made the very nice freeze with his first stone, and an uncharacteristic mental error from Brad Gushu, oversweeping his attempted board weight hit and leaving Van Dorp a hit to score 2. So my prediction is that he is a very annoyed young man right now, and he'll be kicking himself about that mental error, and they'll be looking to really put the heat on here on end number 8 and close this game out.
It's the first time we've really seen anything like that from Brad Gushu in this game.
Mine's good.
The Netherlands haven't had those opportunities at all. The Netherlands haven't played badly at all. They just haven't had the chances.
Well, that's right, and then the Netherlands doing everything they can to generate those chances. So I like the kind of game that that Van Dorp is calling. You can kind of choose to approach a game one of two ways when you know in your heart of hearts that your opponent has probably got a wider skill set than you've got. You can play it really defensively and just try to hang in there, keep the score low and hope for a break. Or you can play it positively And this is exactly what Van Dorp is doing, playing freezes, trying to generate offense. You take risks when you do that, but I really do prefer that approach to this game for a new team like Van Dorp at this level to really state their intentions to say we're here to compete and we trust ourselves. We've got skills too.
Yep, show what we're made of.
Exactly right.
That one catches the other red though. So Canada targeting the guard. Comparison of the seconds. Mr. Gallant, 100%.
Wow.
Not much analysis of his game after the after this is finished.
Yeah.
Can't improve on that.
No, that's to say that's a high standard is probably a massive understatement.
Ja. Ja, 2, 3. 2 is perfect, maar niet lang.
But for Team Netherlands, this is exactly what they're wanting. Stones in play, clogging up the center. Little overlaps. They know that the Canadians are lying shot rock right now, but they're quite happy just to build some traffic up in that center line.
Oh, 1, 2. Yep, yep. Heel. Stay now.
They'll treat those stones in the ring as guards later in the end. Hookman there. Nice center guard. We'll see a little tightrope down that center line for Brett Gallant.
Good. Just easy.
Another player with a really solid delivery. Mechanically very sound.
Sorry about your last one last time.
Van Dorp showing patience. Okay, clear the guard. I'll throw another one up. He'll do this all the way down to probably his first stone of the end.
Here's the thirds comparisons. Nichols quite same level as his teammates, although his hits 92%.
Yeah, Woody Huskins, 18 years old, so still eligible to play at the junior level, but here he is at a World Men's Championship and footing it with the Olympic gold medalist Mark Nichols.
You know, whatever happens in his curling career from now on, Hansi will always remember this.
Yeah.
This time in his life.
Yeah, I'm sure if you said to Mark, okay, you're playing against Wouter, and when you won your gold medal in Torino, Mark, he was 7 years old. I'm sure Mark would say, well, you've just made me feel like an old man, Hans.
On red.
He's only 30.
Ollie. One red.
And these Netherlands players could have a long curling career ahead of them if they stick with it.
Absolutely right. They've got a very bright future in this sport. We mentioned how this team has been together for a number of years despite their youthful ages, and their performances have been improving year on year. And Huskins now coming down to have a word with his skip Jaap Van Dorp and just to confirm what the call actually is.
Denk je dat je met 2 stenen genoeg hebt om die te bewegen?
Plenty of time available on their time clock, so worthwhile just double checking what the call actually is.
We haven't actually seen much debate about any of the shots as yet. As the game gets towards its conclusion, we might see a little bit more.
Yeah, but as I said, I'm impressed with Van Dorp. He definitely has an idea of how he wants to approach the match and the kind of way he wants to set the ends up. And as you said, Alison, very decisive, not a lot of faffing about.
Is that a technical term?
That is a technical term.
Faffing.
Faffing about.
He always has that slight wobble there that Seems almost part of his delivery technique now.
Yeah, Wouter does have quite an upright slide. You know, I would like to see him work on that delivery a little bit. That does create a platform of a little bit potential instability, especially if you're looking to be able to play the full range of shots, the big upweight shots. So he's got an opportunity to work on that in the off season.
Just build up his strength.
It really is a matter of strength. Exactly right. He's a very slight young man, and he is a young man. He's 18 years of age, and so as he fills out physically. And
how were you when you were 18?
Well, I wasn't quite as slight as that, but a bit taller perhaps than Wouter. But you do find in your early 20s that this is kind of when you've reached your physical maturity, and I'm sure it'll be the same for Wouter.
Just to update you elsewhere, Japan have beaten Russia in one of the games going on. A comprehensive win for Japan, 12-4.
Wow.
So
I like this.
Another win for Japan, and they are right in there.
Keep that there.
That takes their record to 5-3. So
There, yeah.
Japan very much in the frame for what is looking like
solid normal.
the fourth and
Might even be
final
able to
playoff
save this
spot.
back here.
Canadian team unbeaten, as we said. And Sweden and Switzerland both on one loss, and saw that the Swedes are winning their match today. So
Good solid normal.
looks like the rest of the field might be playing for that fourth playoff spot. And as you said, Allison, Japan now very much in that frame.
And Olympic qualification, huge for Japan, as it is for all these other nations.
Weight's good.
It absolutely is.
Big team, TV team from Japan here in Edmonton.
Good shot.
Oh, nice shot there from
Really good.
Nichols.
Hey, Mark.
No, you're exactly right, Allison. I've had the pleasure
Really
of
good.
both competing against and doing television coverage of Team Morozumi from Japan over the years, and I can tell you that the fire burns intensely inside that team to represent Japan at the Olympics. There hasn't been a Japanese men's team at the Winter Olympics since 1998, the very first full medal return of curling to the Olympic program. There have been a number of Japanese women's teams, and so curling has a huge following in Japan, but don't want to turn this into a gender thing, but the Morozumi team says, hey, it's time for the boys. The women's teams have had lots of attention. And
or for both of them to get the attention, which
absolutely.
would be fantastic for curling in that country.
Certainly would.
And certainly they're on course at the moment.
Yeah. Fourth placing last year, giving them a reasonable haul of Olympic qualifying points, and 5-3 now, leaving them in the top half of the field. So things looking quite good for Team Morozumi and the nation of Japan. But returning to our feature match, Netherlands versus Canada, and here's Jaap van Dorp. Lots of stones lined up on the center line now, so Van Dorp is just going to try and tuck behind the pile.
Is it coming round enough?
Well, might be hiding a corner. He did have the entire forefoot to use. But
You got all of it, just?
Yeah, I think just all.
we'll see.
Hit and roll a rock.
Gushu and Nichols confirming that they can see just about all of that once. They're going to play board weight. I suspect even if he makes, Van Dorp is still likely to try a come around on his final shot.
Ja, maar ja.
Always thinking, always
Probably on the tight side.
analysing.
I think so.
Well, he mentioned his interest in physics, and so I'm sure he's doing some calculations now about the risk and the reward in front of him.
That's maths though, is it not?
Well, physics is, you know, it's
Yeah,
a numbers
yeah,
thing.
okay.
Yeah.
Clean. Nice weight.
Tell I'm not
Good
into
board.
physics. Anyway, there's the comparison of the two skips. Let's not talk physics, Alfie.
No, let's talk curling, and boy, oh boy, that's some kind of curling from Brad Gushu, 96% to this point in the match.
We've only seen that slight error in the previous end, opening the door for Van Dorp.
So, Gushu shaking his head. He was hoping for a little bit more of an inside roll, but wow,
Needed
he
a fair
says.
bit more ice.
Yeah, he was
Roll a lot. Yeah.
actually hoping to roll away from the
Thought I
danger
threw it
area.
really good too.
Just getting a little,
Might be getting.
I'd like to say a little flat in there.
Yeah. Hog line in, it went really hard.
Ja.
It looks like we were a little high at the hog line, and then it just
And they said both of my draws came down too.
We
so
actually rolled under a little bit there.
Yeah, I did. It moved in an inch or two.
Okay, up.
So again, the Canadians trying to get the most out of every shot. But an opportunity here now for Van Dorp. If he can cozy one in there on the button and just squeak that one in the top 4 foot, he'd be in a great shape to generate a steal.
Just to put the pressure on.
I'll tell you what, if the Dutch can steal this end, it'd be a big wake-up call for Team Canada. They'd be right back in this game.
Yep.
Important shot.
Yep.
It's a statement of intent as well. It's pretty much got to be perfect.
Oh, this one's really curling, though. I think he's on the one in the top 4 foot, and it spills away.
It's a shame.
That is a shame. Opportunity lost for the Dutch, but now chance for Team Canada to perhaps nail the coffin shut. This is an open hit for 4.
He knows that.
Okay.
Van Dorp knows that. That was a real opportunity there. Might not have changed things in the long run, but it certainly would have made it a lot more difficult for Brad Gushue.
So will this be perhaps the final shot of the game? Here's a chance for Canada to potentially score 4.
Remember, 6 ends minimum, and we've passed that. So if Brad Gushue makes this, just one slight error there changes everything.
Absolutely, it does.
Indeed. Last stone
Whoa. Easy, Brett.
from Canada and Gushue.
Whoa. Off, off.
Shouldn't prove too much of a problem.
Well, kills one of his own and rolls out, so instead of 4, it's only 2. No handshakes yet, folks.
No.
Oh, no, well, I stand corrected. The Dutch have said that's enough, and I'm quite surprised by that, but nevertheless, they offer the concession to Team Canada, which they gratefully accept.
So Canada roll on, march on, another win for them. It is 8-3, and it was a long way back for the Netherlands anyway. Fans delighted at the performance of Canada. Another disappointing from a result point of view for the Netherlands. But not a bad performance by them yet again. But this is the team that everyone is looking at. Wow.
Yeah, Canada
Despite that
rolls
last
on.
shot, wow.
A clean sheet, they would say, in the game of football, and a clean sheet for Team Gushue, unbeaten so far in this event, and they continue to roll on.
Yeah, and just before we go, we'll update you on what's happening elsewhere. There's a win for Japan over Russia, 12-4. China and Norway, well, China leading 4-3 there. It's Sweden 5-3 over Scotland, and as you've been seeing, a victory for Canada over the Netherlands. And that is it from us for the moment. We'll see you for the next one. There's a brief update on what we've just been saying. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the action. And from me, Alison Walker, and Hans Frauenlob, bye for now.
Play in end number 7, Canada versus the Netherlands. Final stone for Netherlands skipper Jaap van Dorp. Needs to hit and stay to score 2, and they do. So this young team from the Netherlands hanging up a deuce against Olympic gold medalist Brad Gushue. In end number 8, an attempted freeze from Van Dorp. Slightly heavy bumps, rolls into the open, so chance for Brad Gushue to remove it. Punches out one of his own, but it's still 2 points for Canada, and Team Netherlands concedes defeat, trailing 8-3, so it's Brad Gushue and Team Canada accepting the congratulations of their Dutch opponents. They roll on, 8-3 winners.